This is a First Alert Severe Weather Update.
Good evening. This is Meteorologist John Robinson. Want to give you an update. At least we do have a tornado warning that has been issued for eastern Hockley County. Pardon us interrupting the programming, but we do have a very intense thunderstorm making its way generally east at 30 miles an hour. There was some possibility there. Our meteorologist Adam Young is seeing a rotating wall cloud, some dust being pulled into this storm. It has a history of producing large hail. It is working its way east towards the city of Lubbock. You can see it along Highway 114. So Lubbock County and the city of Lubbock in a tornado warning right now. That's why we had to break in during this particular show. And again, that storm indicating some very dangerous potential for developing a tornado. You see a little bit of a hook associated with that, and it's in the Smire area at this point. Now, we're not getting any reports of a tornado. It looks very much like there may be one. We do have our meteorologist Adam Young out in the vicinity of that. I'm going to toss to Matt. He's been communicating with Adam, and Matt, I'm going to turn it to you here to get an update.
Yeah, want to step through a couple of different things we're going to watch here. First, let's go to the tower cam and show you just west of Lubbock as this thunderstorm is moving in. Now, Adam's been reporting some dust being picked up by this storm at times. And we've been noting the at times a funnel also with this thunderstorm. Let's go now to the First Bank and Trust tower cam, or First Bank and Trust cam. This is from southwest Lubbock, and you can see the funnel that appears to be coming down from that thunderstorm right now. So here's what you need to know for everyone here in the western half of the city of Lubbock. Please get to the lowest level of your home. Put as many walls as you can between you and the outside. The good news here is that we're watching this storm right now, and you can see the funnel is not to the ground. The problem is, though, the rotation is ramped up markedly with this thunderstorm over the past few minutes. So as it moves into Lubbock, we've got that significant hail risks. Let's look at the weather computer real quick and show you what you need to do over the western side of the city of Lubbock, and come back here to the Doppler and show you that you want to get to the lowest level of your home. Put as many walls as you can between you and the outside. So if you're anywhere in Lubbock west of the interstate, need to do this right now. Get to your place of safety. If we have Adam's vantage point, let's go to that. He's actually just south of the storm, and he's been observing this a little bit farther away right now, but he's been observing it and telling us that we've seen at times that funnel lowering. He's seen some of the dust as well. Let's go back to the tower cam. And again, to orient you, this is just west of Lubbock. This is in eastern Hockley County that we're watching that the lowering on the thunderstorm. The good news is the funnel is not all the way down to the ground. Problem is, though, we also have several reports of larger than golf ball. I think one of the reports was up to baseball size hail that's moving into the west side of the city of Lubbock. So, John, this is a storm that we're watching closely. At least right now you can see the funnel is just descending from the base of the storm itself. But what we've seen on radar past few minutes, the storm is ramping up. Realize we are interrupting the voice here, but when we have our main city here under the gun with a, what's that?
4 has a good shot.
Okay, let's go to a remote 4, and this is a different vantage point of it. And let's see, which one is this? Is this Julio's? Okay, this is actually Josh looking once again for the west side of the city as the thunderstorm is edging in. Again, the leading edge of it, the rain, you're probably hearing the thunder right now. That's just on the west side of Lubbock. Our concern for the tornado potential is still near Smire. Some of the hail reports we've had here over the last little while. Let me see here. Several reports of about 2-inch diameter hail when this thunderstorm was near Smire, and that's where it is right now. Quickly, we'll go back to radar to show you, to orient you with where this thunderstorm is. It's pretty much coming down 114. We're seeing pretty significant rotation where you see the greens and the reds coming together due south of Smire. So the tornado at this point, or at least the tornadic threat, is going to be just south of Smire. This is almost into Lubbock County right now. So this is why if you're in Wolfforth, if you're along and west of 179, got to get to a place of safety immediately, as this strong area of rotation that's really ramped up over the past few minutes is pretty much right at along 1585 on the Hockley County side of the line. and it's moving off to the east. But John, this is definitely a serious storm. Let's go back quickly to the tower cam, and you can see the dust being lifted up into the base, the rain-free base of this storm. Again, we're looking just west of Lubbock right now. We'll go from this vantage point. We have several different views of this storm. Going to the First Bank and Trust camera, this is from 98th and Slide, and we can see that the storm is still west of Lubbock County. This is the storm we're watching right now, showing significant rotation. And I'll read quickly the latest update here from the National Weather Service. A tornado warning is in effect for the city of Lubbock and pretty much the western half of Lubbock County and eastern Hockley County. Greatest concern right now is going to be eastern Hockley County and far western Lubbock County. A severe storm capable of producing a tornado was just west of Wolford, 13 miles east of Levelland. It's moving east at 30 miles per hour. So this does include the city of Lubbock and pretty much western half of Lubbock County. You're under the gun and need to get to a place of safety. Something else also want to point out is we actually have a second thunderstorm on radar, and it's lifting northward into South Lubbock. So, John, this is a pretty serious situation right here because these two storms are going to merge over Lubbock. If nothing else, that may just ramp up significantly the rain that's produced here. And just had another report just a moment ago, once again, of a funnel reported out of this storm, still on the Hockley County side of the line as it moves to the east. John?
All right, thank you. Appreciate that very much there, Matt. And as far as we look at the Doppler radar, we want to repeat again what we've been saying. First of all, remember your safe area. If you have bicycle helmets, remember to get those. Get into a closet, a basement, a hallway. If you have a cellar, obviously that's the best. A basement is also great for that. Away from the windows, you can turn up the volume on your television so you can hear us. And the biggest threat, again, is just west of Lubbock right now, and that storm is tracking generally east at about 30 miles an hour. If you have pillows, blankets, anything like that you can cover with, but just think about the safe area to go to. Gather your family, go ahead and get in there. Have our KCBD First Alert weather app with you there. If you have a NOAA weather radio, that is a great tool to have. I know we're interrupting the voice, but this is a critical situation should this storm produce a tornado. It has not produced one yet, but it has all of the ingredients there to possibly produce a tornado, so we're watching it very, very closely. The tornado warning, including the city of Lubbock. As you can see, we're zooming in. You can see the rotation there just to the southwest. You can actually see a little bit of a hook there that is approaching Lubbock, and it's generally northwest of the Wolford area as it moves east, and it's coming along and clip at about 30 miles an hour. But for folks in shallow water, you need to be alert. The actual part that we're concerned about, obviously, generally in the southwest part of the storm, that's where the tornadoes are commonly occurring. But if that storm turns a little more northeast, it could be working its way towards shallow water. But Matt here is giving us good indication. You can see the in and out flow of the winds there, but the red and green, that's where your rotation will be. I'll step back a little bit so you can see that tracker a little bit better. It gives you a general idea, not only for the city of Lubbock, but for central areas of Lubbock County. And again, it is tracking towards Acup, tracking towards Idalou, Kittilou, obviously Lubbock as well, and again, looks like Broadview, Carlisle, and then the Hurlwood community. Obviously, it's going to be in that area much sooner. Right now, I'm just checking our time. We are at 7:50, so that storm working its way in our direction. There is a second storm, as Matt and I have been watching, in the southern areas of Lubbock County. The storms, both of them will likely merge over Lubbock and maybe in the northern part of the city, but either way, you could have an intensification even more with this storm as it moves over the city of Lubbock. So whether or not we're hit initially with a tornado, we do have a very dangerous thunderstorm making its way across our region at this point. So that's why we're interrupting programming. And again, you can also continue to monitor us on our main Facebook page as well, in addition to the television. But overall, dangerous thunderstorm, potential tornado development with that. If we could take a look again, let's take it to First Bank Trust camera, just give you a view of how that storm looks at this particular moment. Fortunately, we still have enough sunlight, and hopefully we can see some views again of the dust, or if there's any additional lowering with that particular thunderstorm. Very dangerous there, and again, it looks like there could be some, but there's some scud cloud under there. Again, occasionally with these type storms, so you don't want to be fooled with that. But again, you can see the intense dust associated with it. This is a live view from the First Bank and Trust camera, and you can see that. And I understand from our director, we had a great shot from Josh of this particular thunderstorm. Let's take a look at that if we can there, guys, and we'll give folks an update. Just a reminder again, tornado warning for the city of Lubbock and Lubbock County. And again, you can see the intense amount of wind associated with that storm system. And again, you can see that it is working its way towards Lubbock, at least the western areas of Lubbock County. That's where the extreme danger is at this point, and the eastern areas of Hockley County. That storm works its way generally to the east. It is moving around 20 to 30 miles per hour, and as it does, make sure that you're just ready to seek your shelter here in the city of Lubbock. You want to be out of the living room areas. Make sure you're down on the lower floor. In other words, that's the safest place to be, and around the windows is a dangerous area. And I do see some dust coming up there. I know from the image it's a little difficult to see there, but we are watching that particular area very, very closely there. It's one of our workers here at KCBD. That is Josh out there. So it looks like we may have an actual funnel trying to develop right in that area. I don't have a specific location. Maybe we can get that. If I can get that over the headset, I can tell you what that is. And then, or Matt, if you happen to know where that location is, we want to make sure our viewers know where that is. That's an area we're watching very closely. From this particular angle, I know we've got our meteorologist Adam Young out there as well. This thunderstorm continues to move to the east. I'm looking at radar back here on my laptop, and again I can see looks like the hook edge of that just southeast of Smyre, tracking along 114, coming up towards the Reese Center area and Carlisle as well. So this is again a very, very dangerous thunderstorm here. Tornado warning in effect for Lubbock County and the city of Lubbock. There could likely be some large hail also associated with that. And again, you can see a little bit of a hook there. There's Mitchell Boulevard for one of the identifying points. Matt is zooming in there. You can see this a little bit better along the Smyre. It's actually east now of Smyre. Notice the bright colors there briefly. That kind of indicates where the rotation will be with this storm. And it generally, as it moves into the western areas of Lubbock County, anywhere along 114, if you live in that area west of Lubbock, you want to make sure you're getting in your safe spot right now. Folks in shallow water, just be alert. You may need to do that. And really anywhere from the Highway 82 back over to the northwest areas of the city of Lubbock, make sure that you're just ready to seek shelter immediately should this produce a tornado. There's been a couple of reports earlier, funnels with this storm, especially wall clouds. And I do also want to mention a couple of other very intense storms that are quite intense in the Bailey County area. We don't have to look at those, but I do want to let our other folks know that we are watching for any other tornado development around the South Plains at this time. But we're focused on our largest population area. We do have severe storms southwest of Tahoka, in and around Tahoka, southeast of Tahoka. We also have strong to severe storms Muleshoe, Spring Lake, Olton areas as well. And so again, we're watching this storm closely. Matt, I'm going to toss it back to you, let you get some information there while I restart my computer here.
So a little bit closer perspective here from Josh's perspective. He's actually just south of Smyre, looking back to the northeast. And again, we're seeing the dust lifted up. And we're going to kind of lose the signal back and forth just a bit because we're seeing so many lightning strikes interrupting the communication signals just a bit. The concern, though, here is that we are still seeing really strong rotation indicated here on radar. Still seeing the inbound and outbound wind pretty close together, and this is going to be just west of Wolford. If you're just tuning in, a tornado warning is in place until 8:30. For the city of Lubbock and about the western half of Lubbock County. Latest update here from the Weather Service. Just updated the warning here a moment ago. The tornado warning goes until 8:30 for southwestern Lubbock and the eastern parts of Hockley County. Potential here for a tornado and up to tennis ball size hail. So obviously we have the concern of what a possible tornado could do with this storm, but also this is going to be some destructive hail moving into the western side of the city of Lubbock. So the greatest hail threat is going to be pretty much along and north of Highway 114 along FM 179. So that's where we're seeing some of the greatest hail returns right now. The greatest concern for rotation for the tornado development is going to be farther down here to the southwest, just west of Wolford. So everyone in Wolford needs to be in a place of safety right now. Again, that's going to be the lowest level of your home or business, know there are many evening activities. Maybe if you had to, things were outside, practice, anything like that. Whatever structure you are in, be sure you're in the most center part of it. Don't want to be in, like a large, expansive, big shopping center, anything like that. Want to get to a smaller room and put as many walls as you can between you and the outside. So again, the greatest tornado concern is crossing from Hockley into Lubbock County, just off to the northwest of Wolfforth. We'll animate this and show you that there is actually a cell merger occurring right over Lubbock, although last few scans actually show, looks like that southernmost storm has lost some of its intensity and may not merge just yet with the storm right on top of Lubbock. Backing out real quick, know that we have several severe storms across all of the South Plains. We'll let you know what these other storms are doing really quickly before we come back to this tornado warning. Severe storm that is merging now over Tohoka west of O'Donnell. That storm has potential for at least golf ball size hail. Also this storm down near Gale, potential for large hail with that. And these storms have just sat over Bailey County for better part of a couple of hours, finally moving, large hail threat to Sudan. But again, at this point, our main concern and the reason we're interrupting here, only when we have life-threatening conditions like this do we jump on the air. I apologize that we're interrupting here, interrupting the voice. Let's go back to the tower cam and show actually the good news here is the fact that we're not actually seeing the lowering quite as organized as what it was just a little while ago. If we have one of those one of our chaser feeds, we can go back to those, which our chasers are on the southern side of the storm or outside of the storm down to the south. And this has given us a safer vantage point to see the threat of the storm. They're not going to be in the hail core as the storm is moving to the east. But everything we're seeing right now, the National Weather Service is continuing this tornado warning because we still see the threat for very large hail, in addition to potential for a tornado over the western side of the city of Lubbock. So we are watching here. This is right along the Lubbock-Hockley County line is what we're watching right now. In fact, this is one of the messages just got about chaser convergence. You can see so many people out there chasing these storms, and it looks pretty busy right there on that county road. So as the storm continues moving off to the east, you see on radar the entire red polygon. That's the tornado warning that includes just about all of the city of Lubbock and most of the western half or two-thirds of Lubbock County. The hail threat is along and north of Highway 114. That's where the largest hail threat is. Pretty much, and of course, 114, that's 19th Street going west out of Lubbock. This stretches up to shallow water as well as the storm is moving off to the east. That's the hail concern. Meanwhile, the greatest concern for what the storm is going to do as far as its rotation, that is moving right toward Wolfforth. So this is why we still want to urge anyone over the western half of the city of Lubbock, and in particular in Wolfforth, get to your place of safety right now. And like we mentioned a little while ago, we're going to keep repeating this because we know people are just tuning in, joining us. We apologize for the interruption of the voice, but when we have something as serious as this, we have to let you know what is going on. We'll look back at the tower cam, and it looks like the storm continues to cycle through once again. We'll go a little bit closer in here. It looks like a funnel is trying to redevelop once again. This is pretty much looking almost due west from Lubbock, and we are seeing the rotation ramp up once again. Just the last scan of the radar was actually showing that. So we're going to stick with this image for just a bit because it's giving us such a good vantage point of what is moving into the city of Lubbock right now. And radar continues to show pretty tight rotation. I guess one good bit of news here is that we're seeing the rotation, but we've not seen the lowering come down to the ground just yet. That could change any minute here. And that's why we're keeping a close eye from this vantage point. And now on the left side of your screen, that's actually behind the storm. That's coming right on the right side of your screen is Friendship High School. So we're at 82nd Street West, and he's actually turning off right there at Friendship High School. You also see how the clouds are they look really almost like cotton balls hanging down. Those are Mamadas clouds, which show us there's a lot of turbulence in the atmosphere, which means storms can become strong. Storms can become very strong and become destructive. So for the northern part of this storm, Our concern is the potential for at least golf ball, but possibly tennis ball size hail. And that hail threat right now is generally outside of the loop north of Highway 114 as it's moving to the east. And let's see, guess we did have, and when we were noticing on Josh's feed a little while earlier, and we were noticing some of that dust come up, did have a report, looks like that may have been the funnel down to the ground briefly a little while ago for a brief tornado. But to isolate where the worst of the two different things we're concerned with here, the rotation is worst pretty much right on top of Wolforth right now. And it looks like that rotation has increased just a bit over the past few minutes. So we see the reds and the greens coming together, moving right into Wolforth. That's the concern. That's why everyone in Wolforth and around the southwestern side of the city of Lubbock need to be taking shelter for the tornado threat, along with the potential for strong wind. And then as you go farther north, golf ball, baseball size hail, that will be a threat to your home as well. So I still want you, if you're in the hail core here, turn your TV up so you can hear us and still treat this like it's a tornado. You're under the tornado warning. The tornado threat is south of you if you are north of Highway 114. But that large hail can also be something that obviously causes damage to your house, but if you're near a window, can cause you harm. So this is what you need to do right now. If you're in the city of Lubbock, western half of Lubbock County, get to the most central part of your home or building, get to the lowest level, and ride this storm out. Let's go back to the tower cam once again, because we're starting to see the storm cycle up yet again. The best news is we're still seeing it off the ground, John, and have not seen the lowering come back down over the past few minutes, but everything we're seeing, unfortunately, still shows this is a dangerous storm, even if it doesn't produce a funnel down to the ground. The concern here is still for the very large hail. And latest update here from the Weather Service just a moment ago. The tornado warning continues until 8:30 for southwestern Lubbock and eastern Hockley County. Storm capable of producing a tornado is over Wolforth, or just west of Lubbock. It's moving east at 25 miles per hour, so it has the potential to produce a tornado and also tennis ball size hail. John?
That is right, Matt. And again, we just want to remind folks, and we've done it several times, but again, trying to make sure that you know that you can seek shelter when you need to immediately. You just need to make sure the closet, bathroom, you can get in there, you can get the products in there you need to protect you, your helmet and such. Being on the lowest floor of your building is the safest place to be. If you have a basement, cellar, obviously that's optimum. But as far as hail potential, it still continues to be very strong between Smyre and just west of the West Loop 289 along 114 and northwest of 62. And again, the rotation area is down close to Wolforth, so we want folks to remain quite alert there. Storm had veered a little bit to the northeast. Now it looks like it's kind of drifting east once again. So that area between Wolforth and Ropesville into southwest Lubbock and western Lubbock and even the northwestern areas of Lubbock along the loop, that's where you've got to be ready to seek shelter immediately should this storm actually develop a tornado. It has come close to it a couple of times, and we saw that potential one a little bit earlier, but again, it is working its way generally east. Looks like core of that hail maybe right along Farm to Market Road 179 in the Carlisle area. Could be very large hail indicated with that, and also reported by chasers in that region. Nothing really strong in the city just yet, but it's really right on the edge in northwest areas of Loop 289, extending all the way up to near shallow water. But for shallow water, it looks like it's just winds and maybe rainfall there. The core of the storm, the concern area, is just west and a little bit southwest of Lubbock, but really in that Wolforth area, up near and south and southeast of Smyre along 114, tracking on to the east. And we'll see if there's any distinct indications of the red and green indicating any specific pockets where there's strong rotation. You can see some difference there in and around the Wolforth area, and if you look just, and we're tracking that, Matt is tracking that, as you can see, just going generally east, that would take that towards the South Loop area. So anywhere in that area of western areas of Lubbock County, southern areas of the city of Lubbock, along South Loop 289 over to Interstate 27, also including the KCBD area and all of that region there, and then also just to the north. Just all of this, we have to be very careful, be prepared to seek shelter immediately. That's why we keep repeating the fact that you need to go to your basement or closet, hallway, turn up the volume in the television set, and bicycle helmets are a great, safe way to protect your head. You just want to protect your body from debris or anything such as that. So again, this storm is working its way into Lubbock County. Still a dangerous situation. You can see the breakdown there. Underground is best, and once again, cover with pillows and blankets, and we'll continue to watch the storm. I'm going to toss it back to Matt. We'll see what it's looking like, some of those camera views, First Bank and Trust, and maybe our tower cam as well.
Yeah, John, and we'll be going to Case Wilbanks here in just a moment. They are safely south of this storm. And again, we're reiterating this tornado warning continues for Lubbock until 8:30. Let's go to that live view, and I believe we have Case Wilbanks out. They're actually at 41 and 179, so they are southwest of the storm. Case, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, Matt, as you were saying, this is FM 179 looking north toward Wolfforth. You can see this cloud structure here. We've been watching it just literally twist, watching these clouds form and rotate. As you guys have been talking about, there's still rotation with this storm. Luckily, we haven't seen anything coming down from this cloud structure, but you may be able to see it right now. I mean, literally twisting up into the sky here. Of course, as you said, we are safely south of this storm, so we're not being impacted by any rainfall or hail at this moment. But we've seen a lot of people coming south away from Wolfforth. Of course, cars going north toward that area as well. But as you've been saying and reiterating, folks need to be careful, take shelter as this storm continues to rotate here. Matt?
Okay, thank you very much, Case. That's the perspective from close to Wolfforth right there. That was at 179 looking north at Highway 41. If we have Josh Hoose's perspective or Adam Young's, they're also just on the western side of the storm itself. It looks like once again, I mean, you can tell the distinct lowering of that storm itself. And again, we're looking out from essentially what is West Lubbock, western Lubbock County. Looks like once again that funnel is trying to form. You can see that vehicle right there stopping. That's the smart thing. You do not want to continue moving east to that storm because it looks like a funnel may be forming once again on the thunderstorm. Looks like we're actually seeing that lowering down to the ground right there, I believe in front of us. Can actually, it's a little bit tough. Yeah, definitely looks like that funnel is coming at least a decent ways down to the ground. So we'll stay with this as far as we're watching this storm. This is actually looking from Wolfforth, from near Friendship High School back to the east. So the funnel is not to the ground just yet, but as that storm continues to cycle on through. And let's go now over to Case's perspective at 41 and 179. You can make out the funnel perspective right there. We're going to keep taking all these different perspectives to let you know what is moving into essentially the southwestern part of Lubbock. The First Bank and Trust Tower Cam, this is at 98th and Slide. We're looking straight back to the west. And so essentially this funnel right now is over Wolfforth moving to the east. We always want to, try to calm or isolate exactly where the worst of our concern is. Clearly right now, it's going to be southwest of Lubbock, outside the southwest loop is where that funnel threat, the tornadic threat is. But we have very large hail still falling over the western side of the city. And so that's why it's kind of a two-part threat here for the city of Lubbock. The tornado threat is Wolfforth, 82nd Street, 98th Street, down to 114th and 1585, generally west of Indiana. If you're in that part of the city, you need to be taking shelter for this funnel that could become all the way down to the ground and become a tornado. If you're north of there, especially if you are along 19th Street, all the way up to Erskine Avenue along the western side of the city, you have the large hail, possibly a baseball-sized hail with this storm. So you need to take shelter from that. And some of our chasers actually near Wolfforth are going to go farther south because of the hail threat right now. So this storm continues to cycle on through. This is the tower cam perspective showing it looks like that funnel is actually trying to lift up once again. If we still have Case's perspective, we'll go back there because he's on the back side of the storm system or the thunderstorm itself. Still noting on radar a hook echo right over Wolfforth and still seeing strong rotation indicated, which is why we're still concerned. This is actually good news that in the last few minutes, it looks like at least the base of that storm, we no longer see the funnel coming down from it. But the problem is this storm may continue to cycle on through and still bring that threat of a tornado. So Adam is going to be heading farther south because he's actually getting more to the core of the, or not the core of the storm, but he's starting to get some hail reported at Friendship. So this is the backside of the storm system. This is the perspective from 41 and 179, southwestern part of Lubbock County. The good news, Adam reports the funnel has lifted. So now we're looking from Case and Julio's perspective. Obviously, they're still seeing the lowering on this storm, and this is still a dangerous storm that warrants the tornado warning, and it warrants you in southwest Lubbock getting to a place of safety, because this storm still could produce a funnel at any moment. It's also producing very large hail, destructive hail. So we're looking here from the southwestern side of it, the backside of the storm system. If we go to a radar, I actually want to show you one thing that's actually happened over the past few minutes. It looks like we've actually seen, it looks like it's actually maybe trying to recycle on the backside of the storm. Let me look at what the velocity is looking like. It's a bit disorganized. That's why the funnel lifted. I was trying to note here if we're actually trying to see it kind of cycle back as it forms perhaps another hook to the backside of it. Clearly, though, if you're anywhere within this red polygon, the tornado warning for Lubbock, respect this polygon. Stay in your place of safety. We've been telling you here for, I realize, 20, 30 minutes. You may be saying, why are they repeating the same thing? Well, when we have life-threatening storms, we have to let you know what is developing, and certainly when we have a storm like this that's moving into the main population here. Hail is now falling at 34th and Milwaukee on the western side of the city. The greatest hail concern is going to be where you see these brighter reds and purples from 34th Street, 19th up to 4th Street. That is generally moving off to the east. Meanwhile, the tornado threat is more on the southern edge of the storm near Wolforth along 82nd, 98th, 114th Streets. Looking back at the First Bank and Trust Tower Cam, we are still noting from a 98th and Slide, we're not seeing the same funnel structure as we were just a few minutes ago. That's good news. But you still notice that lowering on that storm. That's still a concern. And this is still a storm that's kind of cycling on through and is behaving how we would expect a storm that is this severe. Now, we do need to back out and show you what else is going on across the area real quick. And the fact that, let's go up to the northwest and show you a severe warning continues for northern Lamb County. Not a tornado warning, that's a severe warning for large hail. And also, these have been pretty significant hail producers between Tahoka and O'Donnell, also near Post. So, John, we still have scattered storms across the area, but the greatest concern here is still the tornado warning that continues for the city of Lubbock for about the next 15 minutes. John?
That is right, Matt. And again, very good coverage there. We continue to repeat this, as you had mentioned there. The fact is you want to be prepared to seek shelter immediately. We've gone over that several times there. Still very intense thunderstorm there. We have the strong thunderstorms to the northwest. We are watching all of this activity as it makes its way across the South Plains at this point. Our focus continues to be on this storm, potential tornadic storm, and again in the Wolforth area. Large hail. Notice the pink area along 114 there, moving into the western areas of the city of Lubbock and back into the eastern areas of Hockley County. A slow-moving storm, so areas getting rain, likely getting some very heavy rainfall in addition to the large hail, and the tornado threat continues with this storm at least through 8:30. Very slow-moving storm. All of the city of Lubbock within this tornado warning. We had one storm race by. You can see that headed up towards the northeastern areas of Lubbock County. But again, this is a storm we have to monitor very closely. We have meteorologist Adam Young out with the view there, and we've showed you First Bank and Trust. We can take another couple of looks at those cameras there just to reinforce the fact this storm system is still dangerous, still has the capability of re-intensifying. Rotation could return at any time with this particular storm. We're looking here at the storm. We can see again a little lowering here and there, but there could be a lot of scud clouds associated with this storm. Those are clouds that may look like funnels. They don't show any real movement or anything like that, so we watch for those so there's no mistakes involved in that region. But again, it's still a very intense thunderstorm. And you can also see another very strong thunderstorm well to the northwest. That's a view of the sunset there of those storms up in the Bailey County area and Lamb County. Those are severe warned thunderstorms with the possibility of large hail. Storms in that area have been occurring for several hours and dumping some heavy rainfall, some large hail. Bailey County near the Needmore community, Muleshoe as well, even up around Spring Lake and Earth and northern Lamb County, and they're working their way on up into the Castro County area and towards the Texas Panhandle. Looking here from our tower tower cam, kind of swinging that around. Matt is swinging that around, and again, getting any views. Don't really see any lowering at this point, but again, warning continues for Lubbock, so we have to remain alert. We want to continue to advise you. Just turn up your television and listen to the volume there, and you can stay in your safe room. Also, you get updates through our Facebook page as well as the KCBD First Alert weather app. Rain has been falling, but the areas of hail still could be occurring. Haven't seen any current reports on that, but again, there has been some very large hail associated with this thunderstorm as it moved through Hockley County, in and around the Levelland, the Smyre communities along 114. Storm is just slowly progressing to the east. There's still some strong winds associated with that, and still some overall, you can see the rotation there of that storm itself making its way into Lubbock County. And we've got strong thunderstorms, by the way, to the east. They're not warned storms, but around the Robertson community along Highway 207. Those storms are working their way towards communities of Rawle and Crosbyton. But notice again, Slide Road for a boundary there, 34th Street, Loop 327 there, the spur 327 off of the loop. Notice the pink there, that indicates an area where there may be some very large hail occurring at this particular time, and that hail could extend up past 34th Street. And by the way, I will mention that if you're safe and you can get any photos, please upload those to kcbd.com/firstalert. kcbd.com/firstalert. I mention that only for those of you who are in the safe areas, maybe south of this storm or well to the east of this storm, because it is working its way slowly over the city of Lubbock. Heaviest rainfall in the downtown area, and you can see the bright indications. The hail probably reaches still all the way back close to Reese Center. Tornado warning remains in effect, as our graphic indicates there, until 8:30. So again, this is a very intense thunderstorm. Continue to make its way very slowly. Just take your time and remain calm. Stay with us. We'll update you as this storm system progresses into the city of Lubbock and over Lubbock County in general. Biggest problem right now, since there has not been any funnels recently, is simply the large hail moving into the west and northwestern areas of the city of Lubbock. Could be 1 inch, could be much larger than that. Some reports earlier, much larger size hail with that storm. I will mention the storm has cleared the shallow water area, as you can tell, working its way towards Interstate 27, northern part of the city of Lubbock, up into the southern areas of Hale County, and the storm system continues to track slowly. There's still a little bit of an appendage down towards the Wolforth area and along the spur 327. So that is actually coming in just to the south of South Loop 289, and that is an area we're watching closely, and I know the Weather Service is as well. And again, that is working its way east with this particular thunderstorm. That is our area of concern, so remember those safe areas to get into should this storm develop another funnel cloud. Now, hopefully it's just leveling off at this point, and we'll track east and eventually turn off to the northeast and move across our region. But right now, warning remains in effect for the city of Lubbock, at least through 8:30. The storm is still dangerous, one that we have to be careful with, be cautious of, and continue to monitor very, very closely. And you can see it working its way towards Interstate 27, probably along the boundary of that at this point. And that's a beautiful shot, the darkness behind it and the highlighted cloud area there, looking for any lowering. I don't see anything from that. And again, that particular thunderstorm towards the middle, there may be some clouds hanging down that appear to be something coming down. They could be scud clouds, but overall I do see a little dust still being kicked into that, kicked out of that storm system and maybe pulled into the storm system. Then you can see the strong area of dust here on our camera view to our left with low visibilities there. Mammatus clouds, again, indicating the extreme turbulence in the atmosphere, not only in Lubbock, but across the South Plains. So that is why the tornado watch was issued earlier. That's why these storms are holding up so well. There's a piece of energy at the upper levels making its way across the South Plains actually through the next couple of hours, so these storms will remain intense for a while. The tornado watch is in effect till 11 o'clock, but this general boundary of this storm is making its way through Lubbock and extends to our north at this time. And we'll come out a little bit. I know you can see a close view of the city here and down towards the Wolforth area. And it looks like it may be just about clear to the Wolforth area, but it's still close enough. You need to be in your safe area and just prepare to take additional action if necessary. As Matt zooms out there's a severe thunderstorm in the Tahoka area. Primary concern, maybe some very large hail. Looks like just south of Tahoka along Highway 87. Behind that, towards Brownfield and Plains, things are cleared out, at least for the time being. But again, we still have other severe thunderstorms along Highway 70 Generally east of Muleshoe, still in and around the Spring Lake and Earth communities. This is by far the most dangerous thunderstorm, at least at the current time, on the South Plains, the one moving through Lubbock and along Loop 289, Spur 327, extending back out towards Wolford, and then along Highway 114. That's where you're going to find the greatest potential for the large hail. Still somewhat of a weak indication of a hook type echo back to the southwest, but it doesn't look extremely developed at this point. You can see some large hail that actually looks like it has moved into the northwestern areas of the city of Lubbock, continues to work its way towards Interstate 27. And the reason you see the little hole up there, that is the radar site. So the heavy rain is making its way towards the airport, and you can see some striations in the image as well. That's due to the proximity of the storm to the radar site. That storm working its way towards Highway 87 as far as the south part of the city is concerned. And biggest concern really has gone from western Lubbock County to south and southwestern areas of Lubbock County, in and around the city. And again, that was a quick look there. You can see velocity, nothing distinct, at least at this point. If it continues that way, we'll be in good shape. But again, it still has a little bit of an appendage to it that we're watching closely in the Spur 327 area and southwest areas of Loop 289 as that storm comes into Lubbock. Heavy rain moving over Lubbock, potentially still some large hail out to our north and northwest of where the core of that storm is, but that extends through northwest Lubbock back into west and even southwest Lubbock. Expanded view shows the storms making its way on into our area. Now, we do have some marble-sized hail. I've just gotten a report of that. So we do have some marble-sized hail reported out on the south loop and around Indiana. So the hail is decreased in size for our area, but that's still not necessarily the case for people that live in the north and northwestern areas of the city of Lubbock. So, Matt, again, you may have some additional information there. I haven't gotten anything new as to whether there's new large hail in north and northwestern Lubbock at this point. But again, between Littlefield and Muleshoe along 385, still a couple of very intense storms there. Very intense storms from the Silverton area east of that community through parts of Hall County over near Childress. Down to our south, a couple of warnings, but the storms have cleared the Gale community. They're along Highway 84 near Lake Allen Henry, a couple of storms around the Post, and again, that storm in the Tahoka area. These storms continue to progress, with the exception of the one over Lubbock to the northeast at about 15 to 25 miles an hour. The one over Lubbock basically moving to the east, and again, as we zoom in a little bit, still have that tornado warning in effect. A little bit of an appendage there just east of Wolford now, maybe near the New Home area as it makes its way through the populated areas of the southwest part of the city of Lubbock, southern areas of Lubbock County. So that's an area of concern, and there would be the indication where you see the pink in the areas just west of the interstate and along Highway 114. That's the most probable area for any large hail to be occurring with this storm. Still tracking at about 30 miles per hour. So, Matt, I'll turn it back to you and see if you have additional information to add to what I've gotten here.
National Weather Service will be extending, or they'll be issuing a new tornado warning for the city because this expires at 8:30. Quarter-size hail falling at the South Loop in Indiana. I did have a report of baseball-sized hail near Friendship a little while earlier. And let me see, I thought we were going to have the signal from Southwest Lubbock. They're actually moving out. I can hear it at Avenue A and 56th Street. Can hear some hail of probably sounds at least 1 inch diameter falling right here. So this is our perspective from the tower cam here, looking back to the southwest. And as we go to the First Bank and Trust camera, the storm is actually passing pretty much right past 98th and Slide. So essentially it's almost right on top of it right now. And we'll go back, look off to the east now as the storm progresses more easterly. You can just see the heavy rainfall associated with this storm as well. Going back to the tower cam, and that gives you a vantage point west of the storm because the storm is pretty much right on top of that camera at 98th and Slide. So let's go back to our remote to 4. This is at 98th and this is at 56th and Avenue A here at the KCBD building. Heavy rain is falling. You can see at this point, and we'll be getting another perspective along 114th Street in just a moment, but we're having golf ball size hail reported at Wolford. We're not quite that large yet here along Avenue A, but it continues to move off to the move off to the east. So at this point, let's go now to a remote 3. And let's see, here at the station, we're a little bit less than 1-inch diameter hail at this point, and you can see the lightning off in the distance. But we'll go back now to our Case Wilbanks, who is still southwest of the storm. What have you seen here over the last little while, Case?
Well, really, Matt, since the last time we spoke to you, this storm has moved off to the east very quickly. It was west of FM 179, which is here next to me. Of course, you can see it now as it's moved over closer and over to the city of Lubbock. Very still intense storm. You can see all the dirt being kicked up underneath it as that intensity pushes down to the ground, and the clouds still continuing to form and rotate and kind of reform as it maintains its intensity. But a very, well, at least has had a quick pace in moving on to the east, but as you've been seeing, still producing large hail and heavy rains. So still not done with this storm, of course, yet, as it still threatens the city of Lubbock, and that warning continues. But right now we're still keeping an eye on it, making sure that nothing else, no other funnels form and drop down, Matt.
And I realize when we get to this stage of the storms moving on through, I'm trying not to scare you and sound like we're yelling here, but the hail falling on top of the station here is incredibly loud, so you can barely hear anything. We have a large volume of smaller hail just a little while ago, but starting to get a little bit larger here at 56th and Avenue A. And want to go back to, let's go to the First Bank and Trust camera now on the back side of the storm system, because this has given us a perspective. We were looking west, now we're looking to the east. This is the very heavy rainfall and large hail that's falling over generally South Lubbock right now and is moving off to the east. We'll go back to the live view here at remote 4 here at KCBD and show you that the hail is increasing in size, and I can tell you what, we're going to be busy tomorrow with people all around Lubbock filing hail claims here because of the type of hail that we're seeing right now. So at this point, the tornado warning continues for Lubbock itself. So we're going to get a perspective here, and Abner actually has got some larger size hail now. It's actually, this was falling right here at 56th and Avenue A, just a little, and the hail is getting bigger. I want to be clear, I did not say for Abner to go out and try to get the hail, but that's the size of hail that we're getting here at the south, central, and eastern part of the city. So the new tornado warning has been issued for the southeastern part of Lubbock County. This goes until 9 o'clock. Threat once again for very large hail. It's come down a little bit, maybe golf ball size hail at this point, which is still enough to cause damage when you have a storm like this. The good news is, like Case just mentioned, we've been watching to see if it was going to produce another funnel over the last few minutes. We have not been seeing that. Nonetheless, the storm itself is slowly, it's picked up a little bit of speed, like Case mentioned. It's kind of gotten its act together over the last few minutes. But the good news is, if you are north of 19th Street, you're not in the tornadic threat, you're in the heavy rainfall and the hail threat. You can see the red flashing box here. That's the tornado warning that the Weather Service issued. It pretty much goes to the north loop, but that's more the hail threat on the northern side of this storm. The southern edge of it, this is where you still need to be in a place of safety along 98th Street, generally from Slide Road, 98th and Slide East. So going south of 98th, 114th, 1585. If we have any of the other remotes, we'll try to pull those up. Also, it's going to be torrential rain falling out there, so flooding will be happening around the city of Lubbock. Again, a tornado warning continues until 9 o'clock now for about the eastern half, southeastern part of Lubbock County. And we're still seeing the storm cycle through. I'm noting on some of the other radar products we've been watching here, the rotation has not been all that significant. That's the good news. And all the other yellow boxes you see are current severe warnings for large hail. But the tornadic threat is right over Lubbock right now. Let's go back to the tower cam and show you how the storm is once again cycling through again. We're looking from 56th and Avenue A, so we're in the hail part of the storm. We're looking back now to the part of the storm that would produce a funnel once again if it could. It looks like we, at different times when this was over southwestern Lubbock County, may have produced a brief tornado. But latest indications we have here, and actually it's trying to once again kind of lean out on the left side of your screen just a bit. So, John, it looks like it continues to cycle through, and this is a storm that really just doesn't want to give up just yet now as it's over the kind of south central to southeastern part of the city. John?
That is right, Matt. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you can show, I can show these very well, but let me put my hand out here. Randy got a couple of these outside. Abner and I volunteering our hands here, I guess. But anyway, the hail is getting larger in southwest Lubbock. Reports, as you had mentioned there, anywhere from the south and southwest parts of the city. You can see the type of hail coming down at this point. You can actually see the pink there indicated a little bit just along the loop right on the south and southwest part of the city. Obviously, the tornado warning was issued for this storm complex until 9 o'clock for the south and southeastern areas of Lubbock County. Still a little bit of a hook appendage. You can see that indicated on radar. Storm is tracking generally east, may veer a little bit southeast. We'll see what happens with this particular storm system, but we appreciate everybody. Let me remind you again, when you're in a safe area, you can upload your videos to kcbd.com/firstalert, but the obvious most concerns the fact you need to still have your safe room ready should this storm intensify. There's still a possibility it could become stronger and still produce a funnel cloud or maybe even a tornado. So remember, if we have those safety tips, we'll put those up right quick just to remind you. Make sure that you get as many walls as you can around you. That means in the bathroom, hallway, closet, basement, cellar. Those are the best places to be. Stay within your home. Do not stand looking at windows and looking outside if a tornado is confirmed. So make sure you do those things just to stay safe. And again, bicycle helmets are a great way to get protection there in those small enclosed areas. So back on radar, and we can do a couple of tracks here if you would there, Matt, and we'll just show the general track of this storm. But as it makes its way through Lubbock County, it's dumping some very heavy rainfall. Unfortunately, you saw the hail again, very large hail now increasing parts of south and southwest Lubbock. So again, there's going to be some possible damage to quite a bit of homes, trees, plants, and such. But especially with the slow movement here and the additional heavy rainfall, there'll be some flooding. But he's tracking this storm from the central part of the city, headed over towards Ransom Canyon, Buffalo Springs, generally tracking that direction. They really just moved the warning box just a little bit more to the southeast. It doesn't include Slayton, but folks in Slayton, just stay prepared should this storm hold together and should it veer a little more to the southeast. It looks as though it's still just basically working its way from the west to the east over Lubbock. And you can see headed for Ransom Canyon, and we're looking at possibly as late as 9 o'clock based on the slow track of this storm. 9:05 for the Acuff community, and then also around 9:30 should it continue to hold together and make its way a little bit further east. It'll likely hold together enough possibly to make it into the northwest areas of Crosby County, and some of that heavy rain and maybe even hail could be working its way towards the community of Idalou. So we watch this storm make its way across Lubbock. The large hail, still a very intense thunderstorm. We have other thunderstorms in the area. We might back out just a little bit on that, and I'll show you a little bit better what it looks like around our region. We haven't forgotten our other viewers. Obviously, the greatest population here. We're trying to make sure that we continue to keep you updated on what's going on in Lubbock, but also there's still severe thunderstorms, still some rotation and lift up in that area just northwest of Littlefield. That is very close to Spring Lake, community of Earth, Olton community, so a couple of very strong thunderstorms there. Also west of Plainview, a severe thunderstorm there, just a block for the large area of thunderstorms really reaching from east of Dimmitt to west of Silverton, east of Silverton, all the way over to Turkey and Kittiquay. North of those communities, actually, it's made its way out of that region, but over to near Childress. Just some scattered thunderstorms that have weakened down in the Kent County area. Moderate thunderstorm east of Poe, still a strong thunderstorm in the O'Donnell area and near Tahoka. Primary concern is going to be large hail with these storms. The ones that fortunately are not tornadic, they still have that potential for at least 1-inch size hail a little bit longer as they continue to work their way across our very unstable environment that they're in at this point. So for Lubbock, we still have this slow, very slow progressing storm across our city, dumping hail. The little pinkish areas there you can see along South Loop 289, Interstate 27, and then the rain up towards the radar site. You get the kind of unusual look there because of the fact the radar is so close and the storm moving through. But again, you can see the heavy rain, and unfortunately the hail looks like the hail may be slowly tapering off. Obviously it is from the west to the east, but it may be lifting a little bit more to the north. Don't see as much of an appendage with this particular storm. If we take a look at maybe our tower cam, if it's in that general direction there, Matt, or even the other folks, if they're still out chasing, we can see, or anything from meteorologist Adam Young, we can give you an idea of what it looks like visually outside. I know it's getting difficult now that it's getting dark, but it's still hazy out there. You can see the storm just slowly drifting by, but you can also see the blue skies in the background along the southwest areas of the loop, all the way from the interstate intersecting the loop, going out to southwest Lubbock. So the storm is making its way very slowly across this area, and you can see what's left of that storm, what was still somewhat of a danger area. And I'm getting reports here around 9th and Bangor. It's just barely raining there now. So again, this storm continues to make its way across the Lubbock area. Still a dangerous thunderstorm. At this point, they still have a tornado warning in effect for the areas, including Lubbock and generally to our southeast. And you can see that storm making its way through that region. And you may recall, if you were watching us with our tornado coverage yesterday, storm is looking very similar to the one that made its way up towards Spring Lake as far as the overall structure and appearance. So it gives you an idea of how these storms will look. The clouds, again, the puffy clouds like cotton balls, that's Mamata's clouds, indicating the extreme turbulence in the atmosphere. That's why it was so favorable for these severe thunderstorms to develop. That's why a tornado watch was issued for our region. It's also a reason, and there's a great shot of that, that these storms have been so intense. So again, just see a little bit of a broadening of where the appendage would be, right where that 289 indicator is for South Loop 289. You see the bright area is still indicating the hail in that general area as it works its way over towards, looks like University, almost up again, still around KCBD and still along Interstate 27. And then you find the heavier rain up to the north towards the airport. And then to the south, not much going on, although the warning extends all the way down south of the city, down in the southern areas and southeastern areas of Lubbock County. The storm is progressing slowly towards Ransom Canyon. It'll continue to do so, dumping the heavy rainfall, the potential of the large hail and such associated with it. I'm checking to see if I've got some new reports here. I think Adam may be around 130th and Indiana. If not, we will take that if we've got that. If not, I'm looking at my phone here. My laptop literally died on me, so I've lost my information source. So I'm kind of using my phone in addition to the laptop that just died on me. But you can see the heavy rainfall in the parking lot there and the vehicles there. But fortunately, they don't have the large hail now in that southeast part of the city, and also in the southern parts of the city. Reports along Indiana and anywhere from 82nd to 98th. Looks like the larger hail gradually tapering off as it makes its way, and had a little bit of pea-sized hail up in some areas of northwest Lubbock, a lot of heavy rainfall along with that. So this particular storm, you can see it drifting there, and again, this is, I believe, from the First Bank and Trust camera view, looking out, and you can see the restaurant looking over at that storm. Still enough of an organization there. We have to be aware of the storm. I know we're still interrupting the program, but there's always the danger that this storm could storm. I know we're still interrupting the program, but there's always the danger that this storm could those on Facebook, and you can send those again. KCBD.com here if you want to repeat that. Yes, I thank you there. Let's go to Case. That was Russell, our director, giving me some information. There's a great lightning shot there. Case, if you're out there, you can hear me. Why don't you give us an update of what's going on, where you are?
Okay, sorry, John. I could barely hear you there, but we are south of Wolforth. We're still off FM 179. Woodrow Road's just to the south of us. But as you can see, this storm that, of course, we've been monitoring all night here as it moves to the east. We've been keeping an eye on it. As you can see, there's some sort of little appendage off to the south of the storm. So we've been watching that closely to make sure there aren't any other funnels or anything like that have formed. But, of course, as we were saying just a little bit earlier, the storm has moved off to the east pretty quickly. But as we all know, especially the folks there in the city of Lubbock who are underneath the storm right now know how intense it still is, dropping that heavy rainfall, hail, and whatnot. But of course, as I said, we've been out here off FM 179 pretty much all evening as the storm has become tornadic to make sure that there aren't any other funnels or tornadoes formed with this storm. But John, moving off to the east, we're continuing to watch that and keep you all updated as the storm develops and hopefully subsides as it moves off to the east. John?
All right, again, let's take a look at the Doppler radar and show you the activity. And thank you very much there, Case. I was checking on a little more information there and still working on a little equipment. But you can see that storm has decreased in size some from over the city of Lubbock and reaching down towards Highway 84, around Farmer Market Road 835, even Southeast Drive. Still somewhat of a small appendage, though, if you notice that on our radar view and that animation of the storm going over. Looks like some light rain maybe headed for the Ransom Canyon area, but the core of the heavy rain, and again you can see there's still some hail indicated with the pink color mixed in there with the red, and the rain extending down along Highway 87. Looks like the core of the heavier rainfall and the hail is clear of University Avenue and even just along Highway 84. Still some of that heavy rainfall and even possibly hail on East 50th Street, and the storm continues to make its way towards Ransom Canyon and will continue to do so. Just be aware of the fact we still have the tornado warning in effect at this point. Still has that potential of developing, and it's a little difficult maybe to read the radar once the storm is over the radar site and that close, but you still get the general idea and get the idea of the intensity with this storm moving in that general area. And we appreciate all the reports continuing to come in. And again, Matt, I'm going to toss it back to you and let you bring us an update on what you've got over there.
Yeah, we always want to let you know when we can clear and show, who's no longer in the warning area. So looking at the radar here, we certainly still have a lot of noise from thunder that you may be hearing over the western half of the city. But at this point, if you are pretty much west of I-27, west of US 87, the threat has diminished. Now, granted, this does come about to 98th and University, the warning, but our concern for the potential for a tornado is pretty much near or just northeast of Woodrow, and it's moving to the southeast. This is going to be Southeast Drive back to FM 835. That's what you get off of the east loop to go to Buffalo Springs Lake. Then it curves around to the right. You're still in the area that needs to get to a place of safety. We're still seeing the hail concern farther north, pretty much East 50th Street and points north. That's where the greatest hail threat is. Looking at the First Bank and Trust tower cam, we've actually seen a we're looking for the backside of the storm system, and it's been a pretty impressive perspective. At times have seen the lowering, but the good news is we're seeing on radar the rotation weaken, and also visually here. Now, this storm has produced some large hail, the kind of hail that is going to cause damage or caused damage, and you're going to have to be filing insurance claims in the next few days. But that's the storm that's moving off to the east, so that's the current perspective behind it. Now let's look from our tower cam here, which is at 56th and Avenue A, and we're actually looking due south as the thunderstorm is almost due south of the station right now, moving off to the east. So we can clear the parts of the city west of the interstate, west of US 87, but we still want you, if you're along MLK Drive, Southeast Drive, the East Loop, coming back to FM 1729 over the eastern part of Lubbock County. You're in the greatest concern here. A big thanks to the Weather Service office here because they zero in and they issue these smaller polygons to eliminate the concern. It's not all of Lubbock that has the concern now. It's going to be the eastern and southeastern part of Lubbock County with the greatest concern. If this does continue moving a little bit more off to the southeast, this would be a concern down to Posey. That's 1585, the Posey Gin that runs right to US 84. It may stay just north of Slayton. The good news is that we're not seeing nearly the rotation that we did just a few minutes ago. I'm going to actually scan this from the Midland radar site to give you kind of an idea of where the entire storm is moving. You see west to east. We're scanning a lot higher up in the sky because it's so far away, but to give you a perspective of where that storm is moving farther off to the south and east. So coming back in, we are still noting at least some rotation here on the southeastern part, pretty much Southeast Drive and US 84. I want to show you a new severe thunderstorm warning that's been popped up here. It includes southeastern Hale, southern Floyd, Crosby, far northern Garza County. That was just issued for the kind of batch of thunderstorms that are pushing off to the east right now. That new severe thunderstorm warning for the potential for, let's see, at least 1 inch. I'm thinking possibly could be a little bit larger than that, maybe 1.5 inch diameter hail with that new severe warning. The only tornado warning in the area is for Lubbock, and if everything continues like it has been for the past few minutes, we'll be able to go back to regular programming. We do not want to interrupt the Voice tremendous program unless we have something like this, threatening lives, threatening property here within the city. So this is coming back off to the west of the storm. We're looking here from South Lubbock County, and you can see still an impressive structure, but it is not showing us the same signs as a few minutes ago, like 15 minutes ago. Still has enough rotation that warrants this tornado warning that's in place, but we're looking back from the west side of the storm itself. Had a multitude of hail reports from around Lubbock, many of those at least 1 inch diameter, but we have had a few reports in particular over southwestern Lubbock and to Wolfforth. A few reports of golf ball, some spots earlier up to baseball size hail. That's not forming right now, but that's what we had earlier. So I want to show, going back to radar, one thing we are noting is new development going up to the west of Baileyboro, southwest of Muleshoe. And you may actually make out here that there is a kind of small outflow boundary right into northwestern or southwestern Hale, northwestern Lubbock County. That's wind being kicked up by the storms to the north. May actually try to develop additional kind of small outflow boundary right into northwestern or southwestern Hale, northwestern Lubbock County. That's wind being kicked up by the storms to the north. May actually try to develop additional storms along it. And really what development's been there is kind of racing and getting caught up with the storms that are up toward Plainview right now. Severe, that's another big severe warning that's in place. Northern parts of Hale into Swisher and Briscoe counties. All that is moving to the northeast pretty quickly and still has the large hail threat. And then farther down to the south, this is another storm that has a history of producing larger hail, now off to the east of O'Donnell. So just a few minutes left on this tornado warning, John, and you can see that the Weather Service noting that the rotation has weakened a bit, and the back edge of the warning now comes to the southeast loop at Highway 84. It does not include Ransom Canyon. If this thing continues to weaken like it is, it would be a good sign here that the warning may be allowed to expire here at 9 o'clock as the storm continues to move to the southeast. John?
That is right, Matt. And again, it's very good of them to decrease this as that storm is decreasing in intensity, making its way through that region. And again, folks in Ransom Canyon, Buffalo Springs, remain alert. There still could be some large hail associated with this storm as it moves into that region. A little bit of the leftover of that storm reaching down just to the south and southwest of Highway 84. General track is to the east, and you can see a little movement on the update there. Looks like the city is getting in pretty good shape now. Rain tapering off. Fortunately, the hail gradually moving out, so just a small area where the tornado warning remains in effect. And as Matt mentioned there, and as you could tell on the radar, looks like it is decreasing in intensity, so hopefully this warning will expire fairly rapidly here, but that storm is still tracking through the region, so we're continuing to watch it very closely. There's been a little bit of rain in the Slayton area. It doesn't look like the storm, unless there's a sudden intensification with that storm. Looks like that will be clear of Slayton, no issues there, just primarily around Ransom Canyon back to the southeast of Lubbock, and looks like in that general area. Further south of that, there are some stronger thunderstorms, and also the activity northeast is still quite strong. You do see the outflow boundary there. You can see along Highway 385, reaching down along 84, coming out of the Littlefield, headed towards Abernathy, working its way into our region, may bring some gusty winds along with it. Slim chance it could trigger more storms, likely will not, since our atmosphere over Lubbock County and the central areas of the South Plains have been worked over pretty good with this particular storm, but still some hail occurring in the eastern areas of Lubbock County. Some of that rain over around the Idalou, Kittilou area, making its way eastward along Highway 62. Moderate showers in around Crosbyton. I know they have some warnings warnings there, but it looks like your areas of hail may be fairly isolated with those storms, all the way up from approaching Floydada to Crosbyton, and then another thunderstorm still holding together fairly well that is just east of Tahoka, and it looks like it's extending a little bit south of Grassland all the way down to the southeastern corner of Lynn County. That will be edging into the western and southwestern areas of Garza County, as you can see, but to our west, conditions seem to be improving. It looks like they're improving over Lubbock County. You may have a new report there, Matt. I hope you've got additional information.
And meteorologist Adam Young, tracking this storm, says at this point, looks like the updraft is nearly detached. You can see how it's leaning out, kind of falling apart. That's good news. Now, of course, it waited until it got out of the city just about to weaken like this. We'll go to a Digipic in just a moment because we have had many hail reports around the area, but this is the perspective here from South Lubbock, looking off to the east, and the this looks nothing like the storm just about 10-20 minutes ago when it was producing the very large hail and at times producing a funnel, may have produced a brief tornado. And this is good news that it continues to weaken, and we would just like some rain out of this storm and not the tornadic threat. The National Weather Service will be issuing a severe thunderstorm warning. I want to go to Digipic first to show you that this is the idea of a lot of the reports we've had around Lubbock were hailstones like this, about the size of quarters, some a little bit larger, but we have had some reports over southwest Lubbock larger than that. So the good news is that the tornado warning will be allowed to expire here. We'll be able to go back to regular programming. I'll show you on radar the new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued to replace the tornado warning. This is over southeastern Lubbock County. This is still a significant storm. I want to be clear about that. This is a severe warning for eastern Lubbock into western Crosby County. This includes, goes about to Lorenzo and about to the edge of the Cap Rock. It includes Idlew, Ransom Canyon, potential for 60-mile-per-hour wind and 1-inch hail, but that is obviously not the kind of stuff that we would be staying on the air for. So the good news, John, here is that the storm is weakening, and overall it's a far cry from what we had over the past hour or so as the supercell has moved over a good part of Lubbock. John?
That is right, Matt. And again, we are watching the storm. As you mentioned, it still could produce some winds of 60 miles an hour, maybe some 1-inch or larger size hail. Still have some warnings in that general area. And there's a fairly moderate thunderstorm near Plainview. I know it's under a warning there. The stronger part of that storm may be near the Olton area and Spring Lake moving to the east. A few other scattered thunderstorms. Still watching the one southeastern Lynn County and southwestern Garza County. So overall, activity is tracking on to the east and northeast. Out around Snyder, some light showers there, but things should gradually wind down over the next few hours. At this point, though, these severe thunderstorms still have that capability of producing severe weather. There's still a tornado watch in effect for most of the South Plains until 11 o'clock tonight, especially areas that haven't seen any strong storm activity yet, so just keep that in mind. Although things seem to be calming down a little bit around Lubbock, still quite active in Crosby County and Floyd County, and extending up into the Texas Panhandle in around Silverton, Turkey, Hall counties, those communities up there. And we appreciate all the photos, videos coming in. And remember, kcbd.com/first alert for that information there. And you can see the storms down to the south. We are watching this one a little bit closer there, and I know the Weather Service keeping an eye on the one down southwest of Post. You can see a little bit of a structure there, but no reports on that particular one of concern, except there may be some large hail. But just continue to watch it a little bit closer there, and you can see it making its way in the southwestern corner of Garza County, extreme down into the almost northern areas of Borden County. One of the stronger storms still remaining, along with the one that's just in the eastern areas of Lubbock County. But overall, I think we can return to programming here just within a couple of minutes, it appears. So I think we will wrap it up at this point and just go back to programming so that we can join what's going on, at least coming up during the 9 o'clock hour. And we'll continue to monitor these storms very closely.